Have you ever wondered, like, why do we put up the Christmas tree? Why do we celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December? Where did Santa, like, that concept come from? Some of the things that I found out were shocking. Like, I have been deceived my whole life. Like, it's a scam. It's a scam, guys. Yay! Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am Nancy P, Nancy Pet Mark. It's dark. I don't know if you can see me. I just don't know, but I hope you are. And I want to welcome you. For those who are new, karibu sana. If you're not new to this channel, ata wewe, hi, welcome to my channel. Stick around up to the end of the video so that you may be shocked. Christmas. Doesn't everyone love Christmas? What is Christmas? It's a day that Christians have set aside to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. It is a prophecy come true. Celebration of God becoming man or flesh. During Christmas, families come together, people eat a lot, kwanza kukula. People drink a lot depending on whatever drink you're drinking. Some people drink porridge, some people drink beer and rum and wine and water, sodas, anything. Even those traditional beers people drink. Others travel, others just want to have fun, others just take, especially non-Christians, they take advantage of the season because there are so many offers out there. For the business people, it's a time to fetch. Now, some people, Christmas is just another day. It's just another day. But for you, what's Christmas to you? In a bit to understand Christmas in its entirety, of course, you have to do your research, Some of the things that I found out were shocking. I didn't expect it, so I would also call it unexpected for me. Informative and very interesting. I could term it as interesting. In this video, I'm going to tackle 3 questions. Why do we celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December? Why do we put up the Christmas tree in our houses? And where did Santa, like, that concept come from? So let's get into it. We grow up in a world full of traditions and customs and systems of doing things that have been passed down to us from generation to generation. From my Christian background, I already understood why we celebrate Christmas, but I didn't understand, was Jesus's birthday on the 25th, like, for reals? He was to come to die on the cross for us, eventually to wash away our sins as human beings. Of course, I know you know that by now, if you're a Christian, that is. If you're not a Christian, at least now you've known. In my search to understand why we celebrate Christmas on the 25th, I would categorize the things that I found out into 2. There is a pagan claim and the approximation of the dates claim. Let's start with the pagan claim. In the ancient Rome and the ancient world, when I say ancient, I mean long before Jesus was born, the ancient Rome, Greece, Babylon, Egypt had some sort of religion called paganism or idol worship. Those people were worshipping sun god. The ancient Rome had a celebration, a pagan festivity called Saturnalia. Saturnalia, whatever. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it like down below so that you see the spelling. They had dedicated this day to worship Saturn. I hope tuko pamoja. They did these festivities on the 17th of December, but over time they would extend the celebration and became a week long. These celebrations were characterized by the schools being closed, businesses being closed, a lot of drinking, dancing, eating. There was a social disorder where the servant became the master and the master became the servant. So this period, like slaves and servants would have a time of their lives. There was a sex license whereby people would have sex with whoever, casual sex, and there was no consequence because it was permitted. Sports, because they had this Colosseum. Mi akiizi majina, by the way, mi nitaiandika hapa iyo kolo, and that's where they would have gladiators fight. There was rowdy partying that would happen during this period of time. They had borrowed some of these festivities, customs from the Greek, who, by the way, had their own festivity called Bacchanalia. Bacchanalia, Saturnalia. We are still getting to why we celebrate Christmas on the 25th, by the way, so don't get like, what is this chick telling us now? Hold up. Yeah, we are still getting there. So during 25th of December, the upper class would celebrate Mithra, their sun god. Yani son of God, and their god is sun. It's a sun, S-U-N. Mithra would eventually be celebrated all through Rome over time. But even in other pagan nations at the time, they would worship Mithra, but they won't call him Mithra. Of course, they would call him in their own languages. It's the same thing but different languages. That's what I'm trying to say. All these celebrations would happen during the winter solstice. Rome did not experience winter as hard as the northern people, but they would still experience winter. Winter solstice, hey, I wish I had props. The northern pole of the earth gets tilted away from the sun farthest during the winter solstice. Winter solstice happens around December, and the days get shorter, the sun gets faded, and sometimes they would experience total darkness. As I said in the beginning, they were practicing sun worship. They didn't know better than reading the skies and the sun and the stars and things like that. They feared that the sun is dying. In Egypt, actually, they thought the sun god is ill. So they believed that when the sun got up again, they would celebrate on the 25th of December, claiming the sun has defeated darkness. They signified the sun as a life-giving force, and it has defeated the darkness that would come during the winter solstice. Where does Christmas connect with these stories I'm talking about? Let's get a little deeper. In the early part of the Christian era, Christmas was not being celebrated. Spreading of the good news to people, to the Gentiles, was an uphill task. You can imagine them going to counteract their paganism, which had like deep roots, and you're trying to tell them, oh, you know, there's this person who has come from heaven to die for you. You know, they wouldn't relate. If you remember in the book of Acts, Paul and Barnabas had gone to spread the good news in Lystra and Derbe, and there Paul actually healed a crippled man. When he saw the faith in that man, Paul called him and he told him to stand up, and he stood up and walked. These people were amazed. They had never seen such a miracle, to the point they called Barnabas their Greek god Zeus, and then they called Paul Hermes, the chief priest. In fact, they had even gone to bring them some of their sacrifices, until now Paul tore their clothes and he said, no, you guys, you know, we are mere human beings, because they thought that's God in human form. During the reign of Emperor Constantine, who by the way is the first Christian emperor. Some sources say he's the first Christian emperor, and this flower keeps falling, and during his reign, Christianity was an effective religion. Therefore, it was slowly picking up. Christmas was being celebrated, but you remember in the early years, even before Constantine, Christmas was not being celebrated. A few years later, Pope Julius I officiated Christmas to be on December 25th. In a move to make Christianity popular in the ancient Rome, 25th December, as I told you, they were celebrating the rebirth of their gods, Mithra, and others. Now, to counteract that, they saw it okay and good to celebrate Jesus's birth on the same day. It was a very sincere move. They had the best motives to make this day as holy as they can, but for the pagans, they were not willing to give up their practices and their traditions. So they would go have the mass, because the church did not give them a how to celebrate Christmas. They would go do those things that I had said. They would go get drunk, they would go get rowdy. The celebrations continued over years until they were out of hand. In fact, in England, after the execution of Charles I, there was a Puritan-based parliament, which, Puritans are the English Protestants in the 16th and 17th century that wanted to purify the Church of England from Catholic practices. Of course, in a move to protest the Catholic practices, they cancelled Christmas because it was getting out of hand. In some parts of America, in 1659, there was a very big notice that said, if you are found participating in festivities during December 25th, you would be fined 5 shillings. The Christians were so sincere in their motive to spread Christianity and to celebrate such a pure birth, because it happened when Charles II came to power. Since Charles I was executed, he brought back Christmas to be celebrated on the 25th of December. If anything, Pope Julius I had officiated that date to be Christmas. So due to popular demand, Charles II brought back Christmas. After it was revived, it revived again in US, and it was now a fashionable thing to do, whereby they would put up the Christmas tree. People would have festivities on the 25th of December. The church tried, even this day, tries to purify the day, because some people just like, wow, up to date, we celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. But even long before Jesus was born, it was a day that was segregated to worship the Son of God, or the unconquered Son, who reincarnates in his Son. That's why we celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. I know it's kind of disappointing, but yeah. In fact, some people don't even celebrate Christmas on the 25th, claiming that God does not like to be worshipped in the same way other idols are worshipped. Some Christians are very sincere in the worship of Jesus' birth on the 25th of December, but others, it's just a day off, it's just an opportunity to drink, to party, to, do all those kind of stuff. I'm not here to tell you how to celebrate Christmas or whether to celebrate Christmas on the 25th. For me, I think it's important to celebrate Jesus every day, and on the 25th of December, don't feel pressured to do some of these things people do. Like, you don't have to, but it's a bit hard. It's easier to say, but well. The second claim is the approximation claim. If God wanted to tell us, he would have told us. So I don't agree with the approximation date. I even didn't dig so deep into it, because for me that was a scam. But for the pagan one, I think there is a fact to it. It may be a lot to take in, and I will leave some links down below to help you understand whatever I'm saying. It's getting hot, and it's about to get even hotter. Long before Christianity even ever came up, as I said earlier, except the Israelites, there was a sun god worship. They had tree worship. They had so many kinds of worship. There was a tree that did not die through the winter and did not wither or die. And that tree represented the triumph of the sun over darkness, or the sun god over the powers of darkness. Actually, the trees were called evergreens. For the Romans, they took the tree and put it in the house as a sign of that triumph of the sun to the forces of darkness. And it also signified that their farms would be soon fruitful. For the Vikings in Scandinavia, they believed that the evergreen plant was a plant for their god Balder. In the 1500s, the evergreens were put up in houses and decorated. Germans, they are credited for the Christmas tree. Even the Germans were worshipping idols. In Germanic mythology, you would hear some idolatry or worship of many gods. So it was possible that they were also putting up evergreen trees, and they stuck with that custom up to date, and that's where Christmas tree comes from. Prince Albert, the German, married his cousin Queen Victoria. He brought some of his customs to England. For instance, the Christmas tree. So during this period of winter, he would put up the evergreen tree in his house and they would decorate it. There was a paper in London that took a picture of them around the evergreen tree, and that made the Christmas tree very popular in England and all around the world. Santa. There are very many claims about Santa. Some maintain Santa Claus is commonly linked to Odin. Odin is a god in German mythology. I hope now you understand. And he ruled the sky realm of Asgard. Now, Odin was riding on an 8-legged horse during the winter solstice period, aka Yule. And that's where Yule tides come from. Yule tide. Yes, Yule was just a celebration of the German during the winter solstice. Sun worship, you understand. Different names, Saturnalia, Bacchanalia, different names, same thing. It was a custom that children would leave sugar, some sources say that it's sugar, hay, and carrots in their boots, so that when Odin would pass their house, yani the horse would have something to eat during its journey. In exchange, Odin would put small treats. The second claim comes from Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas lived in the 4th century. He was a Greek Christian bishop who was famously known to be generous and giving to the needy, especially young ladies, so that they would not be prostitutes. Sounds like a good man. When Saint Nicholas died, they would commemorate his day, the 6th of December, by giving kids gifts. And in the reign of Henry VIII, the day of Saint Nicholas was pushed to 25th of December. The Dutch went to America and they took their tales of gift-giving Saint Nicholas. So it became a custom. In the early 19th century, a writer named Clement Clark Moore wrote a poem that depicts the Santa we know of today to be an old man. By the even the Germans, in the German mythology, he was depicted to be an old man. this is how he depicted Santa. 1, to be an old man. 2, to enter into the chimney, drops gifts into the Christmas stockings. You know the Christmas stockings. So today Santa has been commercialized. 1, you can see him in the Coca-Cola advertisements. You would see Santa in malls. You see him in bookshops, in hair stores. I don't think people still hold on to where he came from, and people don't even bother where he came from. As long as they are getting the money, they don't care. I'm not able to talk about them in this video because then it would be a long video. That's where Santa comes from St. Nicholas, or in the Germanic, from Odin. Now, my prayer after this video is that you go find out the truth for yourself. I may be wrong in some points, and I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. So let's talk in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think about these interesting facts that surround the Christmas festivity. If you have not watched my last video on prayer, please watch it. I have put the link down below. For those who liked the video, thank you, and continue liking. Share the link, like, and you know, you'll have supported me. Nifanyie kitu poa leo.